reason in which we hurt is because of either an attachment or craving. It is normal for us to feel some sort of pain and frustration, but typically we have to figure out where it's coming from. Is it because you are attached to an idea, a person, an expectation, or a certain outcome? You believe that this thing will happen, and every time your expectations aren't met, it's causing you pain. Then on the other side, when you are craving and desiring and wanting something, thinking, if I get this, I'll be better. If I get this, then this will happen. You're always going to be chasing something because you feel less than. You feel like you are not worthy. And so that is the other root cause of where our pain is. And then if you also believe that pain is something that you can't change, then you're stuck in it. It's literally, this is normal, why I feel it. I'm feeling it for one of these reasons, then you got to probably go 5 or 6 layers down and figure out the why, but that, but regardless, you can change. So you got to believe it. And then you just take a fucking leap of faith and you start doing it. I'll be honest, I'm getting better and better in doing these, and I'm getting easier, but it took me a while, and I almost gave up so many times. Again, I'm doing this in hopes that this will help people down the road. I'm not looking for this to be an overnight success. So this is going to take a lot of time, but I don't mind because I believe in the message. I believe in it. I have experienced this, and I want all of you to know that I'm not an outlier, and that all of you can do this. And in all the text and all the research and everything I've talked to, all the people I've talked to, all the things that I feel in my core, it can happen. You can do this, and we can do this, and I want you to believe in it. I do, and I hope you will. I hope you will from the beginning you saw these, from now, and also forever. And I really hope you know that your pain is normal. It's because of a couple reasons, which you'll figure out. Is it expectations, or because you feel less than? Do you believe that it can change? And then are you willing to actually, do the work and go after it and build your fucking life? And only you can answer that. With that said, I think I'll probably do one more in this series of the one series. This is 1D. I'll probably do one more for 1E. And then I'm gonna probably take a break from the ones and then move down the rest of the chapters for a while, and we'll go from there. So, all right, everyone. Again, Ayubowan. May you be blessed with a long life. Thank you so much. I'm Koos Matthew. Please check out my website, kooskey.com. Koos is key, but Koos Key, Koskey. And all the music done by my little brother, DJ Lanka. So I appreciate him making this music and beats for me. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye. Hey. Thank you so much. Really excited. So the 4 Noble Truths, the biggest thing is this was my realization that my life and everything wasn't stuck. For me, it was really important because I think what I learned is pain is normal. To suffer, it is normal. Like literally, I kept punishing myself. Why am I so angry? Why am I in so much pain? Why do I feel this? Why did this happen to me? And I think I just feeling that when there was so much of my other life that I knew I was blessed. I knew the potential in who I was, in other aspects were great, but in other aspects I hated a part of myself and who I was. And realizing that pain was normal, just boom, took away fuck, I'm not broken. This is normal. Boom, that was half of it. And then, the second thing is the pain a source? is it coming from the fact that I'm craving something, or that I'm attached to a concept that I cannot let go? And as I explained, when you're attached to a concept and when our expectations aren't met, it's really tough. And I think over time, we're okay giving people the benefit of the doubt, or even giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt, But once you do something over and over and those expectations don't align, you're both attached sometimes to a concept that just doesn't align, and that's usually with someone else. But ultimately, that's really more of an internal thing. Why am I attached to a concept, and then I'm punishing myself when someone else does something? Ultimately, that is an internal punishment. And then when you kind of really look at the other aspect of desire, it's you look at the fact that you want something, but you don't have it, and so it makes you think that that you're less than, that there's a sense of dissatisfaction, or even inequality, all stemming from the fact that you feel that you don't have something, and maybe you're either not worthy or you can't obtain it, and you just don't know how. And those two concepts together of being attached to a concept or an idea that keeps potentially hurting you when your expectations aren't met, or a situation that constantly is reminding you of something you don't have, that you're not able to achieve, and that's also hurting you as well. So no matter what, once you realize that it's normal to feel that, then two, those are the reasons that I'm feeling the frustration I'm feeling. All right, cool, that's huge. All right, one, my feelings are normal. Two, those are the concepts of, we got to figure out where it's from. Am I attached, or am I craving? Is it because my expectations are met, or is it because I feel less than? And then you realize that you can change at any time. You can change. You just have to believe it. And then 4, you actually go out and start changing. You start doing, you create the behaviors into actually letting go and changing, because you can. And if you can follow those and believe in those, there's nothing else that can ever stop you from becoming your own. And this has been taught and around for almost 2,700 years. And I bet there was other versions, and realistically, this is how the Buddha taught it. But he was a Hindu. Jesus was a Jew. I mean, realistically, you look at a lot of these religions. I mean, you look at the connection between the Greeks and the Egyptians. Then you look at some of the other ways of looking at these spiritual powers and these beliefs, and a lot of it really comes from believing, and then also realizing of the power of thought. And those are some of the things I'm really trying to lay down as a true foundation for you to realize that you're not stuck and you can do this. And I really want you to believe that. I really do. That's why this one episode is going to be shortened to the point, but the reason why it's important is this is where you can figure out what's going on with you. So one of the biggest forms of pain that we have really comes from attachment. And attachment is when we become attached to something, someone, and we start creating expectations and desires that can lead to disappointment, frustration, and pain. And unfortunately, it's tough. I definitely remember, in my late teens, early 20s, having attachment and beliefs that certain individuals would be my partner, or certain individuals could be, a future spouse, and putting all this energy into it. And it was literally crazy, because ultimately, if you would just have initial and early conversations, you would realize that people aren't in alignment and you just need to move on. But the hard part is when we as humans become so attached to the idea that, hey, I'm going to become the fastest man alive. That's fine. You could be the fastest man alive, but the thing is, to achieve that dream, at some point, there's going to be a pivot point where you're going to be tested. And that testing is going to happen over and over. And you have to realize, like, is the stress, the anxiety, the pressure, not really the anxiety, the pressure that I'm feeling, is this pleasurable or is this painful? So realistically, knowing why you're attached to an idea or which ideas you're really attached to or not is important. Because you could be attached to the concept that, you know what, I'm going to stay in this marriage for the rest of my life, and you're going to work on it. And you know what? I think that's a great quality, except if, hypothetically, the partners aren't meant to be together, where they've tried that it just doesn't work. Sometimes oil and water aren't meant to mesh. They're meant to coexist, but they're not made of the same materials. So you have to realize, is this the bond I want, or am I looking for something that's a little bit different? And so ultimately, knowing why you're attached to a dream or a concept is really important, because, I'm going to say this again, attachment is clinging or grasping onto things, people, or situations, while desire is craving and wanting something that we don't have. When we become attached to something or someone, or we create expectations. So it's not about wanting something in attachment. It's about setting expectations about having it or creating it or getting it or obtaining it. And that's where some of the pain really does come from. And then on the flip side, when there is something, when we really desire it and we really can't, or we don't have either the means or we don't actually own it, then we create a sense of like lack of worth or disappointment, and we really work on fixating on that and trying to either change it or fixating on that one pain that comes from a lack of not having it and really desiring it. So realistically, for us to really understand that pain doesn't have to be pain, and sometimes pain can be pleasure, or pleasure is pain, or vice versa, really comes from looking at, as I said before, our expectations and perception and how we anticipate it, but also the concept of how we're attached to it. Is sometimes a little bit of pain worth the reward at the end? Or are we desiring something because we don't have it and we think that obtaining it would resolve it? Or is it more that you're desiring it because then you're able to then create something else, and it's out of good, it's not out of it's not out of a bad place of negativity. It's more of wanting it to obtain, to resolve, but it's not because you're less than. So it's, even though these concepts are designed or explained in kind of a negative connotation, I want you to understand there is good with each belief. So it's definitely something, I think, for me, when I learned about these two major concepts, I kind of realized, like, fuck, I'm really holding on to some baggage, some stuff, and I really need to work on letting that go. So that's why this episode is really focused on helping you realize and kind of giving you the tools where it was my aha moment. So yeah, what do you think? Put some comments down, or follow me on some of my social medias, Instagram, TikTok, or on here on YouTube. Thanks, y'all.